Welcome back to the channel. Looking through the comments, it's obvious that I need to explain a few things about the power chip, and it's up to me to answer some questions. As one person said, you seem pretty well practiced in this response, and that needs addressing. So here are the top 5 opinions and questions from the comments on the first 2 videos. By the way, thank you to everyone for your comments. I don't mind negativity at all. It lets me know how a video does or doesn't appeal. And bear in mind, this channel is unmonetized. I don't make a penny from it. And within this video, you will be seeing the circuit diagram to make and test your own power chip if you want to. Number 1. Yes, it is just a battery. It was always intended to be a battery, and that's the main function, to create and deliver power. Now, while I do accept that the single positive connection, copper, is the same as having multiple pieces of copper stuck in the ground or in water, it performs a few very different roles. First of all, metals usage. A single piece is far easier to keep clean or to replace if needed. Second, it supplies the positive connection for more than one circuit, something which is never done to my knowledge, though of course I welcome being educated on that. Every circuit ever seen uses one piece of a metal for the anode and one piece of another for the cathode, besides using something like carbon of course. Thirdly, it can be placed on the outer edge of an array of electrodes on its own and spaced for easy maintenance. True, batteries such as the Baghdad battery have been around for a very long time, but the main difference being it's just got one cell, one positive electrode, one negative electrode. Whenever multiple cells are combined, it's one anode to one cathode in a chain. That's the same as a 12 volt car battery or several AAs in a radio, but a lot different to the power chip. Yeah, nowhere have I mentioned free energy. Not in the titles of the 2 previous videos, in the descriptions, in talking about it, or showing anything to do with the project. Where the idea has come from of it being a free energy generator is just beyond me, because it uses 2 different metals, copper and zinc, and therefore has to be conventional technology. It can't be anything else. What I have done is refer to it as a new way to make energy, which is correct as far as I know, and do educate me again if I'm wrong. Nothing just plugs into the ground or sits on water producing usable power. You're only ever going to get something like 1 volt at about 5 or 6 milliamps. We're all used to single oscillators flickering LEDs, the electrodes stick into the ground and away the LED flashes. This can't be any different, except by utilising hundreds of the same circuits summed as a total for much greater power. Research has been about how to sum the circuits, which was shown in the last video running successfully. Number 3. This has come up a few times, and it's something else where I'd really like to be wrong and be educated. Do you know of a device or system that plugs into just one electrolyte of any type and generates more power than the difference in the electrode's potential? Because I don't. To do so, individual cells would have to be summed, and that's what the oscillators are doing and providing. That's what the power chip itself, the concept, is all about. Each oscillator outputs like a little generator, something like a jewel thief, and then all outputs are combined to deliver a final output. That output is completely scalable, from 5 oscillators being able to light an LED continuously, to 1,000 or more being able to charge cell phones, run equipment, or be used as a power source for portable power stations, rather or in addition to solar. Sure, magnesium and copper could be used to light an LED all the time, but the magnesium is reactive to water and corrodes very quickly. It also can't be soldered to, so it creates a bad connection readily. You won't find zinc and copper in water lighting an LED like the power chip design already does. That's not boasting, that's just what happens. And when you sum the oscillators, you get better voltage and current. Some more of them get more power. Now, that's the same as putting a set of AAs in a kitchen radio. You need 6 volts, so you put 4 times AAs in the device. Same thing for the power chip. If 100 of them produce 1.5 volts at 50 milliamps, 4 power chips in series will produce 6 volts at 50 milliamps. Those are not large numbers, but very practical numbers. So, Slider, how about if I want to take the kitchen radio to a friend's house? It can't connect to the power chips sticking through the garden, can it? Not when the other place is somewhere down the road. No. So you'd recharge some rechargeable batteries using the system and pop those in. All is exactly the same as any other method like solar, wind or a power bank. This is just a different way of creating that power. So in agreement, it's nothing new in many ways, but it's completely new as a way to do it. Yes, what is the future? Well, next along will be a 100 oscillator version, at least that's the plan. A very kind friend has agreed to fund purchasing the parts. He's also had some fantastic ideas in manufacturing, and something I didn't know is that such processes can be cheaper than buying the parts individually and making something at home. Fascinating and definitely a route to take with future ideas. Why not make it look good from the start instead of scrabbling about with bits of perfboard in the ways you've seen me do, and perhaps for many years. A power delivery module is being made which will translate the output to common values: 1.5 volts, 5 volts USB, 9 volts, 12 volts, and potentially even mains power, though that would need a hell of a lot of power chips. Importantly, it could be done. The scaling is possible, making sure to not over voltage or over current the parts. It might seem like a fantasy for the uneducated, but I'm not seeing a lot of options out there for renewable home power that isn't solar, and there's no solar at night. Let's try something different. This is the prototype circuit. I was holding off, and please do forgive the previous vagueness, but I had no idea if it would work and how it would work. Just had the general concept in mind, an appealing concept that I wanted to make work. Well, it does work, and it works with this circuit. Scaling is a big thing, then to miniaturize it, but here's the circuit for our friends in China to make millions off, I guess. If they do, we all win, because it will be cheap and the parts could be made better for improvements. I'd much rather it be made in the USA, and do have plenty of ideas on the direction and circuits that could be derived from it. But I've got no capital to further it, so it's open source. Here it is. As an outro, if you're interested in supporting the project, then I won't be saying no. Anything would be appreciated. While the channel is unmonetized, I don't make a penny from it, and because I have no money at all for the project, well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? I'm looking for help. A link will be in the description to my PayPal address, and thank you in advance to anyone kind enough to wish to see the project move forward. And thank you very much for watching.